In today's eMoney tip of the week, I'm going to run you through my top 5 favorite reports. I often get this question, Greg, which reports should we use inside of eMoney? And to be honest, I love a lot of the reports in there. I've done separate eMoney tip of the weeks on a couple of the reports and tend to do a few more in the future. But I want to run you through my top 5. But before I get started on that, I just want to be really clear on how I've learned the different reports. So if you click on the reports tab here inside of eMoney, you're going to notice that it comes up with some favorites, and you can favorite these. And by the way, you can also favorite these for clients, which is a really cool thing to do inside of eMoney that I'll cover in another video. But just if you click here where it says all reports, all you do is click on these stars and it'll be your favorite reports out here. But with that being said, I have gone through every one of these reports. So pour yourself a cup of coffee. Maybe you're watching a sporting event. I love to do this when I'm watching hockey and baseball. I like to do two things at once. So I'll watch the Pittsburgh Penguins, which is my favorite hockey team, or the Pittsburgh Pirates, favorite baseball team. And I'll just pull up each one of these reports. That's how I've learned to do that. The second way I've learned about these reports is if there's a problem I want to solve. So say I'm sitting in front of a client and they have a question to eMoney and I want to show a better way to illustrate it. I've tried to solve that problem by finding it in reports. So I look at reports as just an easy way to show something to a client. When you think of reports that way, you're going to know which reports to use. But I wanted to give you my top 5. So my top 5, in order, it starts with the granddaddy of them all, the cash flow report. If you understand that eMoney is cash flow based software, not goals based software, you understand this report is the heart of what eMoney does. My second favorite report is the ledger report. And I love the ledger report. I did another eMoney tip of the week for finding my mistakes. It might just be because I was an accounting background major, but I do not use this in front of clients. I just use this in the back end to see what's going on inside the plan. The third one, which I did a total eMoney tip of the week on, is the plan summary. The next one, which is a sub-report under 2 different areas, is the beneficiary report. We use this with every single client. I think it's one of the most important things we can do to help a client change their financial future is reviewing their beneficiaries. And I think it's one of the areas I've found that financial planners tended to not be very good at. And the last one of my top 5 is the investments report. A lot of times I kind of poo-poo on investment management because I think that's the focus of most financial planners. That's just a small part of financial planning. But the reality is it's an important part of financial planning, and I think this report goes a long way to simplify it. So that being said, let's dive into it, and let me show you very quickly these reports. So again, we want to click here on all reports. You go up to the reports tab, click on all reports. I'm going to constantly click on all reports even though I have all these favored because I want to show you how to get to them. They're in alphabetical order, so I'm going to go with my favorite one, which is the cash flow report. When you click on the cash flow report, one of the things you're going to see in all the reports, it creates this menu. So you can go with your base facts, and you can go with a different scenario you've built out. Whatever you have turned on in Decision Center will flow through to here. So make sure you've turned this on in Decision Center, or you can do it in advanced planning, just click the boxes. Whatever you have turned on is how you're going to compare. There's also sub-reports under each one of these. So notice how the cash flow is a 5-year cash flow, savings, withdrawals. I do love this detailed withdrawals, especially when you're doing withdrawal work with a client that's taking money out of their accounts in retirement, or we're projecting for it, so we can let them know what the percentage of their withdrawal rate it is. Really useful tool that another one just solving a problem I had to show clients what their withdrawal percentage is. But I'm not going to show that just because of the sake of time here. I do have a more detailed one on cash flows. When you scroll down here, you're going to notice all these blue ones. Every time you see this, you can click on this. Now, the one question I get all the time, and again, we have another eMoney tip of the week where I'll talk about this on Building the Future. Greg, this percentage is just way off. Well, this percentage, and in case you don't know, you go under facts. You're going to go down here to your asset allocation. It's the arithmetic mean or average of the asset classes based upon the capital market assumptions you're using, and that risk is the standard deviation. By the way, when I go over the investment report, notice that this is where recommended allocation is. You need to add recommended allocation, use this report. So getting back over here, we're going back into our cash flow report. The other reason why I like this cash flow report is clients can pull us up on their website. So by the way, if you think that 7.62 or whatever it is too high, remember we're doing scientific testing here. So we want to control as many variables as possible and only change the variables of what if I save more to understand how it impacts the plan. If you really want to look at it from a projection where a client's going to be on a linear which Monte Carlo is not linear, but if you use on a linear, then this is too high, and there's a simple solution to that. You can create a scenario where you do a reallocation to a flat 4%, flat 5%, flat 6%, which again, I'll have another eMoney tip of the week where I go over how to do that. We don't have the time for this purpose. But one of the things I love is you can click on any single one of these and drill down and go through when your plan's not working, you can find the results, but also have great conversations with clients because cash flow really drives the plan. For example, this client, we can go to total expenses, then we drill down on living expenses, and what you'll see here when we drill down on the living expenses is that they have the year-end cash spending. This is a younger couple. This is off. Hey, where is this $50,000? Because if you're saving it, we need to allocate the savings because you're probably spending it. If you're spending it, we need to understand what you're spending it on. So it's a great way to have conversations with clients, especially when you compare side-by-side changes. So in this scenario, I had built out in our last eMoney tip of the week. This client is actually looking to purchase a second home. And so what we can do is when we hit update here, we can compare these side by side and look at, okay, the difference here is them spending this money on a down payment of a house. There's also different views where you can get into this and play around this report. But for sake of time, we're not going to go much further. So my second favorite report is the breadcrumb trail report, the ledger report. I never recommend showing this to clients. You can go back to my other eMoney tip of the week where I go this. But this is year by year going to show you what's going on, the credits and debits that are inside of here. The core cash account, which is the main engine for a cash flow based software like this, that's where the money's coming in and out. And again, you can pick which year you want to look at inside of here. I also love the sub-report tax events, just like I love the detailed cash flow under there to answer some questions for clients and also find some mistakes that are inside of here. So let's get to my third favorite report. This is my Carl Richards-esque one-page financial plan. I don't think it's as good as what Carl has in his book or what we're looking for, but instead of having to pay somebody to have to go through and do all this work for you, this is a quick way to get a one-page summary. So again, you go to all reports, go down to P, go to plan summary. I just clicked on favorites here to get there quicker, but you can see what this report looks like. And with all these reports, you can always go to generate, download. That could give you a PDF, or as I like to do, I like to go paperless. Let's send it to the client's vault. I'm going to show you this real quick just with this one, but you can see it gives you a great overview. When you see send to the vault, it's now sent to the vault. I want to go in the vault. I'll go down to reports, and I'll want to go ahead and rename this. I like to rename it the one-page financial plan. You can see I did this with the previous one, and you can see right here, here's the one I just loaded. And then you'd want to go here and share this with the client. If it doesn't have the green mark, that means you haven't shared it with the client at that point in time. So let's go on to my next one. So we did cash flow, we did ledger, we did plan summary. Now we're going to do the beneficiary report. So there are two ways to get the beneficiary report. One of them is you can go under fact summary because this is a sub-report. So you can see under fact summary, and you want to click down here to beneficiaries. Again, you can web print this, you can generate and send it to the vault. You can also go here to fax detail. I'm not going to go back the whole way through there, but you get a fax detail and you can see it's here. Play around with these, see what these sub-reports are. You probably can use a lot of these sub-reports. So my fifth and final of my favorite reports is the investments report. So again, we're going to go back up here to reports, and we're going to go down here to investments. And what I love about this report is I can talk from a high level. I don't have to give them 100 pages of a Morningstar report. I don't have to be specific to the fund families because, quite frankly, we're doing financial planning recommendations here, not investment management recommendations. They can take this report and they can implement this because we work with a lot of clients we just do financial planning work with, and we don't manage their investments. So they can take this. As a CFP professional, I should be able to give my plan to a client. They can implement it anywhere. You can see a side-by-side with what their current lead and what I'm recommending. It does go high level, which I like. Again, you have to put that recommended in the assets. There are a bunch of sub-reports in here. So this is just the asset allocation report. You can look at all the different ones we do love and use if you have it connected correctly with your accounts. Gains and loss report, which is a really quick way to have some conversations with clients. And you could also compare this to different ones, and there's also views. So I hope these 5 reports are helpful to you. If you have 5 reports that you like better than these ones, I would love to hear about them. And I'll be doing more eMoney Tip of Weeks about some of the other reports I use. We hope this tip helped educate and empower you to do more plans for your clients so that you can impact more lives through financial planning. If you have some great tips we don't know about, we'd love to hear about them. If you have a better way of doing what we just showed you, we'd love to hear about that because we are a noble profession, and together we can elevate the profession.